Great. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning. Thank you for joining today. Today, we have the pleasure to co-present the webinar about the forensic search integrated with Genetec. We have Hobby Wright and Asaf Reed from Irisity, previously ArgentVI, and from Genetec, we have Fabiola Ruvalcaba from the video analytic teams. We would like to remind you that everyone is on mute except the presenter. The presentation and the demo will take about 40 to 45 minutes, and the last part will be the question. So you can write your question in the box, and they will be answered at the end. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed this webinar.
Hello, good morning. I hope everybody can hear me. Can you hear me, Hobby?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, well, loud and clear. So welcome, everyone. So yes, we're having this session for the first time. We're making this presentation for the video analytics team now with the AgentVI Irisity. So we're going to be presenting a little bit the novelties that we have when it comes to advanced forensic search for integrated security center. And as I mentioned today, Hobby Wright is with me, who is Director of Sales for North America for AgentVI, and my name is Fabiola Rubalcaba, and I'm Commercial Lead for Video Analytics here at Genetec. So before we started with the interesting novelties that Irisity and AgentVI that Hobby wants to show us, I would like to present a little bit of why is this important and how the integrations work in Security Center in the world of Genetec. And I will start simply making a recap that Genetec Security Center, as you remember, is a unified platform that can easily connect thousands of devices and add-ons. It's a modular platform that it scales to your needs. It blends into video surveillance, access control, license plate recognition, and a lot of other capabilities for an intuitive solutions. It connects to a multitude of sensors, devices, and other business and security systems to present a complete security picture to your customers. So it's enhanced with modules and partner integrations like the one that we're going to see today, and it gives you the flexibility to build a system that it presents a complete picture to your customers. So with this, we can deliver a great security and control at the door because it's a centralized platform with a multi-site or multi-end system for monitoring and reporting. We can have an open architecture to allow you to access to an ecosystem of technology. It's cyber secure with an end-to-end encryption and advanced authentication, and it's unified. What it means that it's a single platform that you can deliver a consistent and efficient user experience. But today, let's focus a little bit on here because this is about the benefits of the open architecture and how can you leverage the Genetec ecosystem to solve customer challenges. So you can connect the best of breed partners and technologies to the Security Center platform. And how can you do that? So basically, you can do it via our integrations. And the integrations is the result of combining multiple standalone systems to connect them together. So with this, with integrations, you can have a wide variety of software options and to choose from. So you can have advanced features, plugins, and cutting-edge technologies. So you can expand your system. So you can have not just a wide technology, also a wide portfolio to face emerging threats and specific requirements for your customers. And it's flexible, so you can match your business needs. So you can swap out or add technology to along the solution of your business. So there are different ways to make integrations here in security or in Genetec. We can have strategic ones, which is like the off-the-shelf product. We have the partner ones, which are developed by our partners. Vertical specific for a certain focus in certain industries, and the custom made, which are the tailored to customer needs. And as you can guess, here we have a star, and we are talking about the partner integrations that we have, which are developed by our partners. So in this way, we can deliver different solutions, which are not necessarily unified within Security Center, but we can integrate them, and we can have some from mobile credentials, visitor management systems, and in this case, we're talking about video analytics. So With that being said, this approach will allow you to extract the more value out of your video management system. So you can invest we invest a significant amount of resources to integrate the more video analytics solutions to the platform, so you can have a freedom of choice thanks to the open architecture. So our customers can still choose from an ecosystem of technologies. So we work with multiple partners to develop and support a wide portfolio of analytics technologies for security and business intelligence. And we do not limit the intention is to not limit our customers' choice. So we allow them to swap the components and to choose between server-based or edge-based video analytics. So we're connecting Security Center to new systems that provide value to specific markets and for non-traditional applications. And by working more closely with our partners, we are able to find the right solution based on strategic importance and marketability. So the plugins are deeply integrated into Security Center and can provide unique differentiator to face the tight competition. You know that nowadays there are many solutions in the market, and it's important to have the right solution at the right time. So with this, you can use them to switch the conversation to operational and business intelligence challenges, and rather than try them to satisfy those needs. So with that being said, I would like to hand it over to you, Hobby, so you can tell us a little bit more about what Irisity or InnoVi have for us.
Thanks, Fabiola. Really appreciate the opportunity. Really appreciate the intro. And we really appreciate working with Genetec, a true best of breed enterprise class VMS, especially for those federated environments where customers really need either multi-site or very high camera count use cases. And that's also the world where Irisity makes the most sense. And can everybody see my screen? Just making sure.
Yes, we see your screen and we see you.
Okay, fantastic. So you know, we go way back with Genetec. We've done some, you know, very large projects worldwide. Obviously, you have the convenience of in-house analytics with Genetec. And when does it make sense to go to a third party? And Genetec wisely makes that available through very rich integrations with partners like Irisity. And one of those times or reasons to do that is when you need that forensic search capability that Irisity provides. So a little bit about Irisity. Irisity is a Swedish company that has been in the video analytics space since about 05 or 06. A very innovative data science approach with modern AI and deep learning and some very specific use cases, primarily focused on the electronic security industry. And one of the key differences among video analytics players out there today and understanding when to use which application for which use case is really understanding what these companies are doing. Irisity has doubled down on that commitment to the electronic security industry by acquiring InnoVi in Q4 of 2021. Many of you may already be familiar with InnoVi, an Israeli video analytics company founded in 2003. So we're 19 years old. Well, now we have a 19-year-old, data set of video analytics lessons learned and use cases. And our acquiring merging company, Irisity, has a 15 or 16-year-old data set. So combined, we have 35 years of data science specific to the electronic security industry. And one of the key differentiators is most of our competitors are effectively trying to be Google. They're trying to identify every single object or subject that can appear in front of a video camera. And we are focusing specifically on the search and video analytics requirements that are most common in the electronic security industry. What that allows us to do is deliver a higher level of accuracy on the objects and subjects that you would need to search most often versus spreading that compute power across hundreds and hundreds of very obscure objects that you may rarely or never have to search. So with that, we feel that we've built the best mousetrap for the most accurate video analytics and searching for the most common use cases in the electronic security industry. And we're willing to back that up by providing a free POC for anyone on this call. You can get demo licenses and test this. Just contact us, through our website at Irisity, and we will follow up. If you're in the Americas, then Asaf and I and our teams will support you. But back to Irisity and Agent VI, we were already the oldest and largest standalone video analytics company in the world. And now with the merger with Irisity, we've approximately doubled that. Video analytics is still a small industry, but taking off. We're about 100 people. We have installations at over 5,000 customer sites. And again, a lot of experience. And so what we bring is obviously not just investigation, but real-time detections. The purpose of this presentation today is to focus on the investigation, but we do real-time detections of rules and anomalies. We give you rapid forensic investigation of video or events that have already occurred in the past. And then we also have business intelligence. We have reporting, we have heat maps, we have people counting, we have vehicle counting, vehicle statistics, insights. We can actually extrapolate speeds, times that vehicles park and stop, etc. And what our overall value proposition is that the two biggest problems that the video analytics industry have faced are nuisance alarms, when there's so many false positives that it overwhelms the system and the whole intent of putting it in the first place. And the second biggest problem is the amount of manual intervention that the end user, integrator, and manufacturer have to invest into the system to optimize the camera view, object sizes in the background and the foreground, to seasonally calibrate, test, and tune those systems as the environment changes. The cost in terms of time and money also overwhelms the whole purpose of the investment. If the end user had known it was going to be that labor intensive, they would have never done it in the first place. So everything Agent VI and Irisity have done to our products, specifically in the last 6 years with the AI deep learning revolution, is aimed at solving those two problems. And so what we deliver is what we believe we have is the most accurate analytics and search for the most common use cases in security, and the most easily scalable, because 99% of the time, literally, we do not have to do anything to calibrate or tune that scene. It's probably over 99% of the time. It works out of the box. So that's really what we're providing. These are the common use cases that we solve. We're going to focus today, again, on forensic investigation for the purposes of this, but we can effectively do most of these real-time rule and behavior detections retroactively in the search. And there's also some new innovations coming from Irisity to the Agent VI Irisity combined platform, like violent behavior, like anonymization. We know that there's some overlap, with other systems already. But the forensic search, where we differentiate is that we're searching metadata, not post-processing, so we can give you the results within seconds, whereas most of our competitors take hours or days or longer. So you can use us both for forensic investigation of, for instance, a crime, but you can also use our system in Genetec to deliver rapid results, so that you could, for instance, evacuate an area or call for a police response. It's a very powerful tool, and it stands in stark contrast to some of our competitors. And then I referenced the business intelligence. That is another, kind of bonus that you get with us. And, how this works is we have two options. We can either do an on-premise or a cloud-hosted deployment. And yeah, I'll let Asaf go into a little bit more detail on that. But we have edge appliances or servers at the edge that do the analytics. And then we have a core server that can be either on site or in the cloud. So we give our customers the ability to do it either way. And then we have a very rich integration with Genetec. We have a bi-directional integration, so we can consume the video directly from the media bridge, and then we publish the metadata stream back into Security Center so that you can get very rich content in terms of markups of subjects with the bounding box, etc., through the VMS. So it's a very focused enterprise class integration. We have documentation on this if anyone would like to ask for it. And then obviously we're here today with Genetec because this is a proven solution that we have demonstrated, not just demos, but actually real world customers. So the way it works is simple. We just take IP cameras, if it's an RTSP stream, or if we're getting ONVIF through the VMS, we run it through the analytics in our core infrastructure. We display and manage that through our rich integrations such as Genetec Security Center, and we have our own user interface that you can also tap into if you want to make changes to the system, add rules, delete users, etc. Another key note for us is that we have opted to partner with Intel as opposed to NVIDIA. And this has given us some distinct advantages to develop our proprietary data science to deliver what we believe and we're willing to prove is the most accurate video analytics in the industry. But also it's a very scalable and robust system, and it is one less key dependence in the supply chain. As we know right now, we're dealing with a very restricted supply chain. So not having to acquire GPUs can actually be a big advantage in the real world when you actually go to deploy this stuff. And it does kind of allow us to, in effect, shoot most of our competitors down with one shot because they're all kind of doing the same thing with GPUs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of good innovation, on both platforms, and there's a lot of very interesting tech out there today that we didn't have, say, 10 years ago. But again, we feel that we have developed our product to hit the sweet spot for the security industry. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We're trying to solve the most problems as accurately and as easily as possible for the security industry. The markets that we serve are the big ones. I mean, honestly, we make sense where customers have lots of cameras and lots of money. I mean, if they wouldn't be putting up cameras if they didn't want the information. And we can deliver the information to them to make the public safer, to make their clientele safer, to make their businesses operate in a more streamlined fashion. But the big markets that we serve are rail and transportation, critical infrastructure, smart cities, government. We're also doing a lot now with health and elder care. We've released a new feature for slip and fall. Also could be like human down or man down for public safety applications. And then of course we have a key focus on education. If you have an opportunity with the school, we definitely want to get involved, and we could probably do some special pricing to make it palatable to get into that environment, because we're here to make money, but we're also here to make the public safe, and ideally we're all in this together to do that. So a big shared customer is the MTA right there in the middle. New York MTA is a Genetec and Agent VI Irisity customer. We have several successful use cases with them, but this is just a sample of our customers in US and North America. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Asaf to do the live demo. Asaf Fried and I go way back. He's a great engineer. He's local in New York. I'm local in Virginia. And I've been working in analytics for about 20 years, and Asaf has been in the industry for about 30 years. And Asaf, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm just trying to grab the screen.
Okay. Let me know. I can, yeah, you ought to be able to take it. And then if you guys ask questions in the questions tab, I'll be able to read those to Asaf when he gets to the end of his presentation. And as fate would have it, our demo system resides in Israel, and there was a power outage today. So Asaf, good job MacGyvering this. But we might have some different cameras to search, and a little bit of latency, but the show must go on. And another disclaimer that I'll give is we open up the search to be a little bit more flexible on investigation, because we figure if you're searching for it, you can't miss it. But Asaf will explain how that doesn't slow you down the same way real-time alerts would slow you down. So yeah, rock on, Asaf, if you're ready to go.
Hello everyone. There was going to be some duplicates because Hobby stole my show with he's getting more and more technical in his sales pitch. So excuse me if some of the things are repetitive. So everybody that has been doing analytics in the past, I would say 20, 30 years, have done roughly the same thing, looking at pixels, clustering it into blobs, and then trying to use algorithms to figure out if that cluster of blobs or pixels is a person, a vehicle, is that a tree moving in the wind, reflection, maybe camera shaking, spider walking on the lens, and so on and so on. And it was somewhat successful based on the expectation that people had over the last 30 years, but it required a lot of work, a lot of filtering, calibration, and even when customers were willing to spend all that time and money in doing all these fine tuning and doing it at every season and the night and the day, the system was still, all systems were not really working at 100% or even scalable. So if you had a system that had 100 cameras or even less, it would take days, if not weeks, just to get it initially set up, and then you'll have to maintain it accordingly. Agent VI, after many years of improving that type of system, have moved to AI and deep learning. And with AI and deep learning, the biggest advantage is that there's really no settings. You put in the camera source, in this case is just an MP4 running in the cloud, but you put how much time you want between the alerts, and you got an up and running system that's out of the box, good in classification, almost zero false alerts. There is nothing classifying anything like trees, shadows, clouds, anything else. The reason why I'm talking about this is, and even in light of the forensic search, is that Agent VI has always, and especially now with the AI, goes with the method of processing the whole video in real time. So the usual effects of false alerts in real time would have the same effect on our forensic search, because essentially everything that we can classify is going into a metadata stream and being processed. That metadata stream is using the same amount of hardware for essentially all of our applications. So if you switch from real time to forensic to reporting to anomaly, all these features are all based on the same initial hardware processing, and with Intel as a partner, it's really low in requirements. So with the real time, I'm going to touch on that quickly. We basically have all the basic rules that everyone has: crossing a line, moving in an area, loitering, crowding, how many people are in the area, things of that sort. On top of that, we have our anomaly, which will use another AI model to run over the metadata stream and essentially look for unusual entries in that stream. So somebody running instead of walking and things of that sort. And then when those two things are over and processed and they show up in the Genetec Alert Center, if you set up a rule, somebody crossing a line, you're obviously getting that alert jumping in with the recorded video in Genetec and the tracking boxes and all of that. The rest of the metadata is stored for forensic search. That means that when it's time for you to run some sort of forensic search, I'm just going to run now a search on everything, on all the cameras that I have. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cameras, and I ran a search for 3 hours, even though some of it is looping video. We got 1,632 results within a matter of seconds. And that is the biggest differentiator that we have with our technology. You don't have to cut a specific section of the video and send it to processing. You don't need a separate processing either when you purchase the system or when you decide to install it to be dedicated for forensic. You don't need really anything else other than your real-time processing units to run our forensic search. And the results of the forensic search are very accurate. They are immediate, again, so you can actually research an event that is ongoing. They're quick, and they contain everything that the rest of the industry is providing. So with maybe a couple of exceptions on very detailed types of searches, you're not giving up any of the quality or the options by doing it quick, because we're just doing it on time. So the things that we can do are, in the search, it becomes also very similar between the competitors. It's just a matter of quality. So we can search, as an example, on something, let's say trucks. This is we're looking at boats in Venice there that are definitely looking like trucks. Things that we can do is we can look into some faces. So if the camera supports it from a field of view perspective, we are able to search for face detection. This is not facial recognition. This is just the ability to identify a face. We have the ability to do a couple of basic things about it: male, female, mask, no mask, and we're adding things all the time. But essentially, it's made to find how many times have we seen this face in that environment and where that face has been. This is, again, built in as part of the product, does not require any additional licensing or hardware. We do things like searching for two-wheel vehicles. Again, the speed in which the results come in and the accuracy is the key component. One of the greatest things that we built here is we built a platform that allows us to train the system to detect more and more things based on customers' requests. So we had a request from a customer to add the ability to detect business jets over a thermal camera. So we were just able to take sample videos and just add that and create new models for that. We can, somebody wanted to look for people wearing hard hats, things of that sort. In addition to just looking for people, vehicles, two-wheeled vehicles, we can obviously add the color components to it. So we can look for people with yellow components. In this case, would be an umbrella or a jacket. We can essentially put any type of our rules into our search criteria. So I can look, instead of just looking for a person moving in an area, I can actually look for, let's say, a person crossing a line. So I got a person crossing a line. I can also display that using a path trajectory that will give me even more information about what happened in the scene and where that person was walking from and to, and where I detected them. So these are some of the things that we can do things like grouping, so we can define how many people are in a group and how far they are from each other. We can define things like occupancy, that is just how many people are in the group. We can do stopped vehicle, and we can do unattended object. All these things are working out of the box without any definition of the objects that need to be searched for. No? Avi, do we have any questions there? I didn't look at I see the log jumping.
I think we've got one right now. It was really more during my presentation. It was about the GPUs, and fair enough. So let me read it. It says CPUs are just as pipeline constrained as GPUs. How is that really an advantage? And good question. But I mean, we just installed a 1,200 channel system for a government client last week. And I can tell you, it took some wrangling to get the servers to support 1,200 channels. And it was definitely easier, in my opinion, to do without also having to layer in a second, resource constrained commodity being GPUs. Beyond that, that's just the temporary advantage that I have observed, is the long-term advantage of just having a simpler system from an infrastructure maintenance standpoint. If when something goes wrong on video analytics that are GPU deployed, it's another hand in the pie, finger in the pie that you have to sort out to determine where the problem is coming from. So it's less variables from a diagnostic standpoint, and it's a simpler life cycle investment from just simplicity to know that you can just buy, for instance, Dell servers with Intel processors, and there's enough deep learning boost in there to do everything you need to do versus having to add a GPU. There are obvious advantages for GPUs on video graphics and a lot of other factors, but it's not a necessary real estate to do true deep learning. And if you're using GPUs and it's working for you, more power to you. I'm just saying that our customers often appreciate this. This is part of our value proposition, and we do get mileage out of it, and we're very confident that it helps. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. So. Yeah, go ahead. You may have more to add, Asaf.
Yeah. So and just adding a little bit to what you said. So when looking at a GPU, especially some countries that have less of a hardware integrator savvy community. So first of all, adding a GPU to a server is more complicated than just putting that card. We just put a 1U blade servers. If you want to add the same amount of processing power using GPUs, you will need a 4U server, and you will need to put 4 GPUs in there with the appropriate power supply, better cooling. If you have working in a server room and you're going at 16 servers with GPUs, then your air condition is going to suffer, your power supply is going to suffer. And then when one of those GPUs is going to die 2 years down the road, which GPU are you going to put? Are you going to put one that is compatible with what you have? Will you find one? Will the driver work? Will they work in Linux? It just, as Hobby said, there are reasons for everything, but it's just from a hardware perspective, it's just so much more complicated and expensive as well.
Absolutely. And then, another thing I'll point out while we're waiting to see if we get any more questions, guys, there's a bunch of you out there. So, ask us some questions. Somebody give us a layup, an alley-oop, slam dunk. No, ask hard questions. Ask whatever you want. We didn't do a live demo of, the live alerting today because that's not the purpose of this. And usually when we do the, forensic investigation, we show the live first for the sake of time and for the sake of, simplicity because of what we were asked to do. We didn't. But what you don't see when you go through our live alert monitoring, and it's also evident in the results of forensic search, you don't see alerts on light, on shadows, on animals, on transient objects, on a piece of trash flying through the field of view, insects on the camera. We give the demo all the time, and we have live proofs of concept running and access here and there to some of our production systems, and we collect a lot of data. And you can literally typically go through thousands and thousands of alerts before you find anything false from a perspective of it's, wrongly classifying and identifying an object. There's the weird stuff like boats as trucks and things like that, which, we can differentiate. We just currently don't have a classifier for a boat, but we can add that easily. But we have very accurate results, and that's what I would invite people to test because, Asaf and I have been in video analytics for a long time, and that has not been our experience with the other systems that we've worked with in the past, where you will get frequent alerts on shadows, on light glistening off of a car window, taking the height width aspect ratio of a person, headlights, that kind of thing, all of those transient objects. That's really the most impressive thing that we have done, and that is the hardest thing in video analytics, is just that baseline accuracy of classifying objects correctly. And if you can't do that, it doesn't matter what your features are, how rich your feature set is. And that's what we're prepared to test and prove to anyone who would like to test it and prove it. So again, we offer a free POC of our cloud hosted version to anyone on this call who would like to request one. You can contact the Irisity or AgentVI website and just go through the web request and we'll get back to you. I've got North America. My colleague Gio has Kala. He's on the call too. Yeah, while we're chatting, are there any other questions? Oh, hold on, there are. Sorry. It's just hard to read the questions here because they're so scrammed up. All right, so there are.
Maybe I can help you a little bit with that, jumping in a little bit here. Let me also put my.
Yeah, I got it now. I got
yeah, you got it? Okay.
Yeah. Is there a demo license available for innoVi evaluation? Absolutely. Yes. again, you can contact Irisity or Agent VI, and I'll put my personal contact info up here shortly that you can capture. Is our law enforcement, city officials, the top vertical for this? They're one of the top verticals. So again, we offer the tools so you can do forensic investigation of crimes, but we also have the unique application of being able to give you rapid forensic results. So you could look at something that happened and then make an immediate system. So it's also very important for mass transit, for public transportation. Say there's a breach at an airport, we could pinpoint where the violator might be, so that you could then react to that or evacuate, you know, say maybe one terminal, but not the whole airport, that kind of thing. So yeah, but yes, law enforcement, public safety is also a very common use case for this. Are there detections for weapons at this point? No, we haven't done that. We have partners who do that, but what we find, we've looked at that, we've done the math, and the probability of detection and the false alarm rates do not measure up to the rest of our product suite. We're literally trying to hit 100%. And, you know, if we're not getting above 99, we feel like there's a problem, like it's been put into the wrong environment. And if you're getting something in the 80s and it's as crucial as a weapon, not saying that you can't use it, but when you have nuisance alarms related to alerting on weapons, you know, and thinking they're an umbrella is a weapon or something like that, and then the reliability of always being able to detect a weapon in the first place, we have just chosen to stay in our lane and only deliver what we know you can reliably use. If a customer, you know, had the money and wanted to pay us to deliver that, it's always a possibility. We just have to have those clips. But I think some of my disclaimers are going to remain true. The reliability is, you know, there are other technologies we believe are more reliable at detecting weapons today. So we can talk about that offline if you want to talk more. With the face detection, will this system show the face in question? It looked like the question got cut off.
So I can answer that.
Oh, here it is, following multiple cameras.
Yeah, so the system will, again, on whenever, you know, like facial detection, we try, you know, like on everything, but specifically on that, it's very important not to oversell it. There are specific requirements for what the size of the face should be and how well we can detect it. But if those criteria are met, then we will recognize that face throughout the system. And by the way, that is the main purpose of the system. So, for instance, people counting, we don't want to count the same person. Just, you know, like a crowd forming, things of that sort. So it's a sort of like an aid for us to be able to know that that person is there. And even though they're walking behind a light post or something and they appear on the other side, it's not another person, it's the same person. So yes, it will.
Hey, Jim, thanks for that question. Next question, what is pricing like for this? It's, I mean, MSRP is $150 a year for the investigation. You know, so probably discounted would come in around, you know, maybe $10 a year, or if you have quantity, a little bit less in terms of pricing to you. We also have a special discount for any Genetec partners, as well as any existing partners. There are discount structures, and then we're able to get competitive and, you know, and win projects. The you know, monthly costs on the SaaS of, say, you know, $10 to $12 a year, or discounted more for quantities and special considerations, are per month, not per year. It's $150 per year. You know, break that down, divide by 12, and then discount it. we're going to give special discounts to you guys. The on-premise version, starts at about $300 for a perpetual license, and then we'll also, discount that. And then obviously we have to factor in the cost of the servers, and there's probably a Genetec component with a plugin as well. But we're very competitive, guys. We're very competitive. And then there's an enterprise version. There's more questions about licensing. So how is the software licensed? Are there minimum purchase points? Any idea of MSRP? So yeah, I just gave you that information on investigation, and those are at onesie twosie levels. Like I said, we can get very creative if you have hundreds or thousands of cameras in an environment that we can sell into, to make this, really a no-brainer, because it is a very easy overlay, and you have the, integration already. If you're a Genetec partner, if they're a Genetec customer, it's a really easy sale to make too. If you run into like end of year money or anything like that, because all of that infrastructure is already in place with those customers. They already have their cameras, they already have their VMS. We just need to layer in a little bit more server or appliance infrastructure, but that's usually like a server room type install, so there's no construction risk. And then we light the licenses up, and that's a very quick, easy process. In fact, if it's cloud hosted, we can do the whole thing remotely. Or if you give us VPN access, we can do the whole thing remotely, even on an on-prem. So it's really the easy button. Yeah, the MSRP on the cloud hosted was $150 a year, and I think the MSRP on the perpetual was 300 or 320, for perpetual. And I think that's all the questions we have so far. We'll give it a couple minutes, but we'll let everybody get back to their lunch. We won't keep you for the whole hour if there are no more questions. Or I don't know if Fabiola, if you or anybody on your side have any questions. But again, we're really grateful. Oh, let me share my screen really quickly and just put my contact info up there. So anybody wants to reach out, I can answer all these questions with specificity. Yeah, that's me. hobby.right@irisity.com, 804-338-7676. I'm still tracking the questions. I think we're good. I think we answered all of them.
Yes,
yeah.
I think we're clear.
Yeah, and we still have, 95% of our original audience. So really grateful for the opportunity. Glad everyone stuck with us. It looks like this was of interest, and we'll shoot you straight. If we make sense in an environment, we'll tell you if we do and we don't. Doesn't do us any good if we go back to all those problems video analytics had. We want to have a happy customer. We want to have a good partner. We want more referrals from Genetec. So we'll take good care of you.
Great, thank you, Hobby. Thank you, Fabiola. I think Hobby and Fabiola, we have your contact in the email blast that we sent to everyone.
Okay, great.
And also we'll send a reminder with the recording of the session if anyone would like to watch and listen again the webinar, and also that will be available for the people who couldn't attend.
Fantastic. Thanks. Good job. Thanks, Fabiola. Thanks, Camille. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks to everyone who attended. And we hope to be speaking, and we'll also be at GSX if anyone's going to be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Hobby. Thank you, Asaf, for the presentation and to leave our audience today to learn more about advanced search and forensic search with Irisity. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.